I am super excited to be here today. Hi, I'm Coach Tracey Knight, and I'm your self mastery coach. And as you can see, we are all masters in the making. And what that really says is that we have this awesome opportunity to learn how to really master ourselves on this journey that we call life, in this game that we call life. And so I'm here as your self mastery coach to help support you along the way on the journey. I've had so many people who have helped me to get over myself, to get out of my own way so that I can realize the true greatness that's already in me. To allow me to build a seven-figure business, to allow me to love, lose love, divorce, love again, to teach me how to be fit and healthy mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in every sense of the word at 52, and to feel like I'm living my best life. I didn't get there on my own, and you won't either. So I'm here as your self-mastery coach to support you along the way. And so all week long, what we've been talking about is being stuck, what it means to really be stuck. And the other day, I talked about this stuck mindset. So let's first talk about what it means to be stuck. I just want to recap on that. You know that you're stuck when you kind of have this gnawing inside of you. You know that something else is possible for you. You may be very successful, highly successful in one or more areas of your life. And yet in another area of your life, maybe it's in love, maybe it's in your finances, maybe there's a project or a level up in your career that you really want, and you haven't been able to quite, get to that next level, and you feel like you keep bumping your head. Or perhaps you've begun to settle and say, maybe this is not for me. And that's the wrong idea right there. And that's another reason why you need a team of people around you that can help you to understand when you're in your own way, because that type of thinking is always going to keep you stuck in the mud. One of the other things we've talked about is that there are some signs and indicators, one of which is denial. And that's what I want to talk about today. So what it means to be in denial is like being an ostrich. An ostrich is a beautiful animal. I think they're very regal. But the one thing about an ostrich is that they oftentimes stick their head in the sand. So they don't quite look at what is going on in reality. They have their head in the sand. They have their head covered. They're in denial. And so that can look like things like avoidance. It can look like waiting, like you're waiting on something. You're waiting on God to deliver you from something. Let me just dispute that right there. God ain't got nothing else for you. He, she, it, they, whatever you call your higher power of your own understanding, has given you everything, has given you power and authority and dominion over your life. Of course, we all work within the context, within the principles of this world. But our higher power of our own understanding has given you authority to create the life that you want. So you don't need to wait on God to do something for you. In fact, he, she, it, they, whatever you call your higher power, has commanded that you go forward and to create a life that is worth living. And so you continuously waiting is just an excuse, and it's an indicator that you are actually in denial. Okay, so you have the power, you have the authority just by being able, you create through your mind, your thinking, your words, your actions or deeds, the people you hang around. This is what brings things into reality for you. So you don't need to wait for your higher power to give you authority, because it has already done that. The other thing that it might look like is relinquishing your power. Oh, let me go back to the waiting. It also might look like you're waiting on your spouse. It might look like you're waiting on your minister. It might look like you're waiting on your supervisor. You're waiting on your employer to see your greatness. You're waiting on your employer to give you a raise. You're waiting to hit the lottery. There's all this waiting that takes place, and it's really just a denial of your own power, your own authority. It can also look like relinquishing your power, which is very closely aligned. It's like where you turn that over to say, they don't allow me. I haven't been permitted to do X, Y, and Z. It's not the truth. A lot of times we carry forward with us mindsets from our childhood where maybe in our childhood we weren't encouraged or inspired, empowered to really take control of our life and to take action, like to make decisions on our own. So that goes into adulthood, and we still are waiting on those parents to tell us exactly what to do. And it just never happens. So relinquishing your power, turning it over to your boss, your supervisor, the team, your spouse or significant other, relinquishing your power is not only disempowering, it is an indicator that you're in denial. Deferring decisions to others, waiting on others to make the decision, and then you'll make the decision. God knows, I know some people who do that. It's like, if you're a person who can never seem to make a decision, or you're not comfortable making decisions in your life, this is a sign of denial. You are denying who you are. Procrastination, baby. Procrastination is a big sign of denial. And then, of course, giving up in your life is a sign of denial. So, if you really want to look at some of the signals, I've got a whole list of 10 signals that I'm going to run through here really quickly for you so that you can keep them at the forefront of your mind as you are going throughout your day, throughout your life, to check in with yourself so that you can reclaim your power and begin to take action on building that business, on applying for the promotion, or stepping out and leaving the job and getting into a different industry, on finding love again, or a different type of love. Maybe you want to revamp your relationship. Maybe you're ready to level up in your health, well-being. In all of those cases, you've got to look for the signs first. Okay, here's one. You are missing deadlines and falling short on commitments. A sure sign that you're in denial. Primarily because anytime that you start missing deadlines, basically you're not present. And so what that means is we check out when we don't want to be a participant in whatever it is. So what we do as a defense mechanism is that we actually just forget about it. So we miss the deadlines. We're always behind. Procrastination is directly correlated to this. And what it does is it shows that we fail to meet our commitments. And so over time, what that always does is affect your self-esteem and your sense of self-worth. And so when it really comes time for you to level up and to do something that requires a lot of girth, a lot of grit, you don't really have it because you've missed out on so many other commitments that you find that you can't trust yourself. So that's an indicator. You ignore things that you know need to change. Like you're aware that they need to change and you have this I know already, but you really don't have a full understanding as to the impact, the cost, and what it is costing you. And it is, baby, be assured, it is absolutely costing you. Okay, you keep the focus on someone else. You're putting the focus on someone else. You're waiting. You've deferred your power. They won't let me. It looks like that. You use avoidance or demonstrate intolerance to perceive bad news. You're presently absent or a no-show. You elect someone else to speak out for you. I've seen this so many times, like especially when you work in groups or work in teams, and you allow everybody else to speak, but you don't use your voice. That is a form of denial. It's a form of denying your own power. You convince yourself that you're comfortable with the status quo. Oh my God. Like this is the big one. This idea that you are okay. Like I'm good, I'm so blessed. I got, when really underneath, that you want something else. You're maybe even overconfident. Here's a big one. You're overconfident and you think everything is fine no matter what. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is great. It's going to work itself out. Just don't even worry about it. I had a situation recently where people were like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's going to fix itself. And I'm like, no, it is not going to fix itself. We have the power and the authority to fix things. Okay. And so waiting on things to happen is just a form of procrastination. And then the last two I wanted to point out as sure signs that you're in denial is you don't want to burden others with your problems. So you know that you need help or support. I had a situation recently with a client where they really needed help and support in order to do a new task. And they were just so terrified to ask for help and ask for support. And what happened is they allowed several months to pass without asking for help, and they let the team down. And now it has breached the trust within the team. And they are wondering why people are not trusting them, or why the relationship can feel a little off and awkward. And it's mainly because the person didn't want to burden anybody by asking for help, right? And then lastly, you're unusually anxious, stressed, and short-tempered. That's a sign because your body always tells you what it is that is going on with you. So when you are anxious and feeling really stressed and short-tempered, you're either in denial or in resistance, or both at the same time. And so your body is just giving you signals. What we have to learn how to do is to pay attention to them. So here are two more ways that you can begin to overcome denial. I gave you 3 on the last show, and I'm giving you 2 more today. Okay, number 1, call a thing a thing. Call a thing a thing. Stop pretending like it is something else. What you're doing is just delaying the inevitable. So call a thing a thing. And then the other thing you'll want to do is recognize that the people that you hang around, your circle of influence, is so deeply connected with how far you can go in life. Not how far you can, but how far you will, right? Because if you really look around you, look at the top 5 to 6 people that you hang around the most, and see if you have people around you that really push you, that really stretch you, that tell you the truth, even if it's going to upset you. Or do you have people who really are achieving at the same level that you are, or less than? Because a lot of times we'll hang around people who are achieving at a lower level than where we are in whatever area of your life. And we're comfortable there because we feel like we're further along than they are. So that causes us to feel really comfortable because we're further along than they are. But what you have done is settle for mediocrity. Instead of putting yourself in a circle of influence that can cause you to stretch, where you feel super uncomfortable, you feel like you're not really quite sure whether or not you're going to be able to do it. But let me tell you this, baby, the only way for you to push past your limits and to push past things like procrastination, to push past things like perfectionism, the only way for you to push past your limits to create the love and relationship that you want in your life, to push past your limits to create the career of your dreams, to be able to apply for the promotion, go in there and rock it out, to make yourself indispensable within the workplace. In order for you to push past your limits, to earn the type of money that you want, to take your business from 5 figures, 6 figures into 7, 8, 9 figures. The only way for you to achieve the wellness that you want in your life, you have got to pull yourself out of denial. And the best way to pull yourself out of denial is to surround yourself with people who have already done it. I'm Coach Tracey Knight. I want to thank you for joining me today. I saw so many amazing friends on here. Thank you for tuning in. And I will be back with you again tomorrow on another segment of Real Women, Real Leaders, Real Talk. I'll see you soon. Bye.